that most of the leather used around the world actually comes from Africa? Yeah, your luxurious Italian leather handbag may have more Nigeria in it than Italy. In fact, African leather is highly sought after by fashion houses both within and outside of Africa, particularly in this African country right here. Made in Italy? Try made in Nigeria. Let's talk about it. Although today 71% of leather produced in Nigeria is exported to Italy and Spain, the African origins of leather, particularly within the luxury industry, have long flown under the radar. For example, this tannery right here, based in Kano, Nigeria, supplies leather to fashion houses like Louis Vuitton and Ralph Lauren, to name a few. This family-run business, Winston Leather, has effectively been supplying some of the biggest names in fashion for over 30 years. You see, in Nigeria, leather making has a long and storied history. For over 500 years, traders have bought leather from this West African country. It's been a center of leather production for years. Within northern Nigeria, one particular city stands out: Kano. Traditional tanneries in Kano are Nigeria's oldest and biggest leather suppliers. They are, and always have been, the starting point in many leather-producing chains. See, among the Hausa Fulani people of northern Nigeria, leather served a functionality. It was essential to the production of clothing, footwear, bags, and saddles for transportation and trade. Hides and skins from free-roaming cows, goats, or sheep were taken, and skilled artisans, who often belonged to specialized guilds, would transform them into leather through a process called leather tanning. And before you come screaming about animal cruelty, at the time and still in many African communities, all parts of the animal were used. As a source of food, architecture, clothing, nothing was thrown away. The skill and knowledge of these artisans was passed down through generations, perfected over centuries, and today, many of those traditional techniques are still in use. But while leather has traditionally been used to make practical products, it's also deeply intertwined with Nigerian cultural identity and constitutes a visible form of cultural expression. For example, in Igbo culture, leather is used to make Igbo akupe, a traditional leather hand fan, and in Yoruba culture, leather work is used in some ritual objects like the lapa. It's always had many uses and has always been highly sought after, which is probably why on the global stage, Nigerian leather has evolved to a symbol of luxury and high fashion. Now, that's not to say that the industry doesn't face issues. There are problems related to infrastructure, financing, and competition from imported goods. Made in Africa still doesn't have the same ring to it as made in Europe. But African designers are working to change that. Brands such as these are switching the narratives, and initiatives like the Lagos Leather Fair have brought smaller designers to the forefront and really showcase Nigeria's beautiful leather craftsmanship. There's really no need to look far. Beauty has always been found within the continent. We just need to foster it.
This work was made possible through the
I bet you did not know that Africa is the #1 place where all these luxury brands source their raw materials for their bags, for their shoes. Literally, Africans have just joined the chat room. I'm telling you, 2025 is indeed a year of revelation. The tariff really changed the dynamics of this whole shenanigans that has been going on, with the world not knowing the truth of so many things, right? This year is a year of revelation indeed. Guys, if you're just joining, welcome on board. Here we are one family. If you want to learn one or two things that is happening all around the world and in the US, this is your best channel to always tune in. But don't forget to hit on the like button, share, and also do me the honor and subscribe. Guys, this thing, literally, Africans have just joined the chat room and is about to get really crazy. Contest. All this leather are being produced in Nigeria, Kano specifically, just like the video say. About 80% of the leather they got for their bags and for their shoes, in which they use in manufacturing all those luxury brands that you have, they are sourced in Nigeria, Kano, and also in my state, Plateau Jos. You have places where they make this leather out of the skin of the animals, the cows, sheep, and other animals that they use, to get the leather that you use in having all those expensive bag, shoes, and what have you. It's really interesting. Like, this tariff is like a literal eye opener as to what is happening around the world and how these multi-billion dollar businesses and companies that have been making money, like billions of dollars, from getting things from Africa. And meanwhile, they hardly even mention Africa. They hardly even mention the places where they source their raw materials. Let's continue.
I'm exposing the luxury brands who have stolen from African tribes and given them no credit at all. The Louis Vuitton monogram was made in 1896, but parts of it was actually stolen from a Kwili tribal mask. The Louis Vuitton damier bean was stolen from the Cuba chief's formal attire from the Cuba kingdom in Congo, Africa. The Versace Greca print was also stolen from the Cuba tribe and the Fumban tribe in Cameroon. The Louis Vuitton men's collection in 2012 was inspired by the Masai Shuka, a traditional African blanket cast in colourful shades of red and blue. The design stolen from the Maasai tribe of Kenya and Tanzania. Louis Vuitton also created in 2014 the tribal mask chain wallet. Is it just inspiration, or is it cultural appropriation, and should these tribes be compensated with the profits that these brands are getting?
Right. Is it cultural appropriation, or is it just that they go to use the inspiration of African ingenuity and they claimed it as theirs? Right. It's about time you pay homage, and not just paying homage. It's about time that you paid these people their worth for stealing literally their designs, for stealing their, designs and cultural ingenuity. It's about time these corporations, these businesses start paying up the real price of what you've been stealing. They really actually know that a lot of this design, a lot of what these luxury brands usually get their inspiration from. Someone said it's an inspiration, but to me, half of it is like stealing people's cultures and you turn it into something good. Yeah, something good. But you have never, even for one day, like recognized the talent, the cultures that brought about this design that you took inspiration from. But is it actually an inspiration that you took from, or is it that you took it away and made it yours?
The bags come from China, but the leather comes from Nigeria. The bags are manufactured in China, but the leather, the exotic skins, the snake skin, the alligator, it comes from Kano, Nigeria. Come on in, let's talk about it. Yes, because I love that the Chinese manufacturers are coming on here and asserting that they are producing these luxury bags and luxury goods, but also Black people have a hand in that manufacturing by way of tanneries in Kano, Nigeria. So a tannery is an institution, a business in which you are converting animal products like skins, leather, suede, alligator skins, snake skins, all kinds of exotic skins into textiles so that they can be used for goods, clothing, bags. And Kano, Nigeria is world headquarters for this practice. And they have long since been headquarters for hundreds of years. So I interviewed during the pandemic a man named Winston, and he leads a business out of Kano, Nigeria called Winston Leathers. And they are actually a third generation tannery. So he confirmed that his tannery produces leather goods and exotic skins for brands like LVMH, so Louis Vuitton's portfolio of brands, Ralph Lauren, many other luxury brands. And I interviewed him on Twitter. I'll link to that thread so you can go back and read it. But yeah, he shared that this practice of providing exotic skins to the world, but specifically to China, goes back to the Silk Road, when traders in Mali were providing leather goods up through Morocco and on into Asia. Moroccan leather is known for its quality, and Winston actually shared that Moroccan leather can be traced back to Kano, Nigeria, and is actually Kano leather. So I love all the conversation that Chinese manufacturers have started around like amplifying that those goods are produced and manufactured in China. I want to go a layer deeper and talk about how Black people are actually contributing to the manufacturing as well, because the leather goods and the exotic skins that make up those bags that they're putting together in China actually started on the continent of Africa, in Nigeria. Okay, let's talk about it. If we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about all of it. And, sorry, I'm getting ready. I'm gonna put my brush down to talk about some bags that I love by Black designers. So this beauty is Antelope. This is by a brand called Brother Valet. A black woman named Aurora James leads that brand. I still wear fur. Don't kill me. I read a great New York Times article about how basically fur was phased out when black women were able to access it in greater numbers. So basically, because black women could access something that white people felt was exclusive to them, that's when they decided, oh no, vegan leather. And I am not a proponent of, you know, inhumane treatment of animals, but I do love fur, and it is a part of black womanhood, black girlhood, rites of passage. We hand down fur coats. So I love a fur. Brother Valet has great bags, and they also benefit women in Africa who construct these bags. I want to talk about Hanifa. I can't get enough of Hanifa. I love Hanifa Muvemba as a person. And she is also a black designer from the continent of Africa. She is from Congo, and she produces bags. This is a great bag. It comes in a larger size. It also comes in black, I believe, and maybe red. And yes, I love this bag. She sent this bag to me. Thank you so much, sister. Love this down and wear it. Okay. And we gotta talk about Luar. So Luar is headed by Raul Lopez. He is a person of color. And he's actually previously one half of Hood by Air. So if you're familiar with Hood by Air, they pioneered streetwear. He was one half of the duo who founded it and led it. So icon already. He circled back, okay, and hit us with another brand called Luar. This is the ostrich texture. This is 100% genuine leather. It's ostrich textured. I also have a smooth version of this bag in brown. And then I also want to shout out another black handbag designer named Wilglery. She heads the brand Anima Iris. I had the pleasure of working with Wilglery when I was at Amazon. So I was brought to Amazon. Many of you know I work in luxury fashion. Hi, I'm Shelby. I'm a costume and fashion historian, a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, a Vogue Business 100 Innovator honoree, and a 10+ year veteran of the luxury fashion industry. And during my career journey, Amazon brought me over to stand up their luxury division. And so I onboarded luxury brands with an emphasis on black luxury brands, okay, and I got to onboard Anima Iris, and Wilglery and her team were amazing. Love her bags down, own more than a couple. They're not within my reach right now, but wanted to shout her out because her bags are still produced on the continent of Africa as well. So support her bags. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, girlies, because it has to go without saying. Black people are in the mix with a lot of things, okay? And this is one of them. So just as China is making sure to assert their contribution and their attribution to the luxury handbag industry, I want to make sure that we assert and attribute black people's contribution, which is specifically in Kano, Nigeria, via these tanneries. So yeah.
Oh man, I love how these conversations are beginning to turn into, you know, not relegating black people in the background, because for years black people have been having so much talent that had been watered down, and you have a lot of black people not being recognized, not giving their due recognition in some of the world's greatest inventions, right? This lady, I'm so happy that she infused some black bag designers that you can buy and support their, you know, business and all of that, you know. So just like I said, this leather manufacturing or leather making for luxury brands had been going on in Africa for years, specifically Nigeria, Kano. It's been going on for hundreds of years. They've been in the business for years. But who would have known that all these luxury brands quietly usually go and source their raw materials, that's the leather, from there to make these great shoes, these expensive shoes, bags, clothes, and you know, it's really crazy. I just love the fact that this tariff saga is literally unveiling some of the truths that people are supposed to know, especially for black people. You know, we've done, like I said, some of the greatest inventions, we've not been getting the recognition that we all deserve, right? So I'm just happy that this year is a year of revealing the truth, right? Africans have literally joined this chat, and I'm just wondering how it's gonna, you know, proceed from here, you know. So
this is something nobody really talks about, but a lot of the biggest designs have been stolen from Africa.
And another thing folks won't talk about is that many never believed this accusation until a person with a European accent made it. There's nothing new about kids coming home to mom's house to see what they can find. But I so look forward to Africa's resurrection and an end to saying,
Right. Because if people start talking about Africans are the ones, or Nigerians are the ones, or black people are the ones that are literally behind the sourcing of raw materials or the making of the raw materials for all these luxury brands, nobody would have believed them, right? Because they think, oh, you guys are just talking, you don't do nothing, you only consume, you don't make nothing. So now we've been included into the point of inception, that's the point of manufacturing these brands, shoes, bags, and what have you. So we are the inception, right? But if a black man or if black people start talking about it, no one is going to take us seriously, because just like I said, we've always been relegated to the background, like we do not offer anything. But meanwhile, Africans, black people, have been at the helms of inventions throughout history, right? And this is not about to stop. So guys, if you find this information wonderful, please hit on the like button, hit on the subscribe button, and don't forget, share this video with your friends so that a lot of people will be informed that black people are not just making mad or have not contributed to the world. We've literally made some of the greatest inventions in the world, right? And we need to be acknowledged and appreciated, and we need to be supported at the same time. So guys, thank you for stopping by, but please come back for more videos. Have a great day.